Let's talk about this video on boundaries and having boundaries without guilt.
Here are the 4 ways to say no and stick to it. Number 1, practice makes perfect. It's a skill to say no. So you want to practice this in all the little ways. So practice it everywhere you can, even in the little ways, so it's easier to do in the big ways. 2, research shows that if you make a plan before a situation for what you're going to say, you have a better chance of sticking to it. So practice even there about what you're going to say before a situation comes up, and you'll have a better chance of sticking a no. 3, I'm saying things like, I'm not putting anything else on my calendar right now. Give a pause. Check back with me in a month. Check back with me at the end of the year. Check back with me later. Put it on them. And last, no is a complete sentence. No need to justify it or explain.
We feel guilty, especially if we've been a people pleaser or a high-functioning codependent, and we've been over-functioning or doing too much, saying yes to all the people. Suddenly, the thought of saying no can really bring up a ton of guilt, where you feel bad, you feel selfish, you feel wrong. We have to question our guilt. When we're over-functioning and not having healthy boundaries, how much of that is self-sabotaging behavior? What is happening for us that we are self-abandoning to sort of please?
So first of all, I love these suggestions. They are very outward, behaviorally oriented suggestions, and it is important to change our behavior. But I'm going to talk about the guilt part because that's super important for being able to move forward with confidence and set boundaries. If you're new to me, my name is Rochelle Walsh. I have been a complex trauma therapist for more than 25 years, and I specialize in brain-based strategies and helping women get out of overwhelm and chronic stress and walk into their most confident life. So I want to talk about this video because it's super important, and what it illustrates is this outward approach to boundaries. And so in my experience, it is not that people don't know what they can say. So we know that we should be able to say, no is a full sentence. Most of us have heard that all of our lives, right? Just say no. We've learned that. We know that we don't need to explain ourselves. Like, we know that up here. But what really, really, really interferes with people having boundaries, not just with other people, but with themselves, is that there are 2 things really. One is that there is a core belief that it's incongruent with. So if my rational brain says I want to say no and should say no to this, but I have a core belief that I have to please people, or it's my job to be the fixer, or I can't disappoint anyone, or it's my job to make everyone happy, that core belief in the subconscious will usually give the answer. So it's like we are operating from that child part and that core belief in the subconscious. So most of the time, people are trying to behave their way out of a core belief, and what that leads to is incongruence, right? I'm trying to set a boundary, but it doesn't feel congruent because I still believe I should be pleasing everyone, or I still believe it's not okay to say no, or I tell myself it's okay to not take work home, but I have this inner drive that says I have to be perfect and it's never enough and I should always be doing more. So when we try to make outward changes without really addressing the internal structure, those deep, things in the unconscious and subconscious mind, and there's a difference between the unconscious and the subconscious, but when we don't make those inner changes first, the subconscious is either going to, it's going to act for us and we're not going to be able to set the boundary, or if we do, like she says, the guilt comes up. Now what happens is that guilt is not only familiar to us and based on some belief, but it also might just be habitual. Like, we are always feeling like we should have done more. We should have said yes. We should be fixing it. We should be responsible for everything. And so that guilt has a chemical cocktail in our body. Now, the body processes information so much faster than the mind. So even though our rational mind is saying it's okay to set a boundary, the guilt comes up, it's uncomfortable. So what do? We revert back to past behavior. So it's not a lack of knowledge or knowing what to say. It's an incongruence with the core beliefs, and it's a lack of being able to get through that emotion. So for some people, when guilt comes up or I did wrong, it literally feels like I am in danger. And then your brain goes into fight or flight stress response because I'm in danger, because I didn't make somebody happy, or I'm falling short. And so to move through boundaries without guilt means you have to work at a lower level. And then, yes, as she's saying, do you have to practice it? Practice makes perfect. You do have to practice it, but practicing things on the outside doesn't change things on the inside alone. It's just a piece of the puzzle. So I tell the ladies I work with, we work bottom brain up, meaning we work in that core part of the brain, the subconscious and the nervous system up, because that is, all research suggests that is the very fastest path to regulation and to making core deep changes. So we work bottom up and we work inside out. So like, for instance, in the way that I work with people, boundaries is one of the last things, not because they're not important, but because we want to do so in the easiest and fastest way. And that is to work with the inner subconscious brain first, so that otherwise we're just working against ourselves. We're battling against ourselves, and we're having to try way too hard to do things that should come naturally. When we change the core beliefs, the outcome is that we're able to take that action easily without guilt, and it feels very much congruent for us. So hope that's helpful. Again, my name's Rochelle Walsh. Check out my masterclass if you want to learn more or apply to work with us, or just want that information. You know, if you've been trying to set boundaries and it's not working out for you, if you keep bumping up against the same self-sabotage and you're not getting to the next level, know that there's a much faster way when you work through the subconscious. Bye.